Welcome, guys, to the NFL Week 11. Quick recap from Week 10. It was a bad week for us. Went 1 in 3 on our picks. Although my favorite pick, my second play of the year, cashed again easily with the San Francisco 49ers crushing Jacksonville last week. My second, 5% play of the year has come through. The first one was, of course, Buffalo earlier in the year against Miami. Really looking at my 4 plays last week, obviously San Francisco was the right side. I had Atlanta too, which I still think was the right bet. Unfortunately, Heineke got injured, and when you lose a starting quarterback, I think Atlanta did what they had to do to win the game. They only lost by 2 points. They contained Kyler Murray. He didn't throw for any touchdown passes. But yeah, when you lose your starting quarterback and then Desmond Ridder comes in and some other quarterback, they had like under 100 yards passing for the game. And so that was obviously the difference in the football game. They lost their quarterback, couldn't pass the ball, and they still, after all that, only lost by 2 points. Arizona had like 11 penalties or over 100 yards in that game as well. So unlucky there, but definitely 2 bad bets. Cincinnati and New Orleans. The Cincinnati one I talked about last week, they were in a bad spot because they had this look-ahead game to Baltimore, which was last night's Thursday night game. And they had just come off big wins against San Francisco and Buffalo, and it was a bad spot for them. And so I should have took Houston plus the points, but Houston ended up winning outright. So I broke that game down, but Cincinnati has cashed for us the previous 2 weeks, so I thought I'd go back to the well with those guys, and they came up short. And the other bad bet was, of course, New Orleans. They're obviously just a bet-off team the rest of the way. Again, last week was really hard. The fact that I had the Falcons and Saints as road chalk is something I don't usually do. Think about it. Road chalk, NFC South teams. Just bad teams. New Orleans is a disaster. Derek Carr is a disaster. Should be benched the rest of the way. Last year I was chirping Minnesota a lot. This year it's New Orleans. A bad coach, bad quarterback. And when you have a bad coach and a bad quarterback, you're in for a rough year. And that's exactly what's the case in New Orleans. They've had a very easy schedule the first half of the year, and they stink. Derek Carr's career is very interesting because usually quarterbacks, it's like the one position where you actually tend to get better with age because it's such a mental position. And Derek Carr actually got better in his first few seasons and then has regressed since. I don't know. He's awful. He's fucking awful. So screw the Saints. I'm done with those guys. Bad bet, whatever. But honestly, I like this week a whole lot better than last week. And we're still, 23-16 on the season. So we're still having a really good year all around. We were hot. We were 7-1 against the spread the 2 weeks prior to this. So, just regressed a little bit, but we'll get back on track here. Going to go through a bunch of games. I got 3 picks up on the Patreon already. So link will be in the description, guys, to look for that game or for those games and those picks, my official plays this week. And I love those bets this week. Love them. First game on the schedule here, Arizona and Houston. This game has been bet up to Houston -6. You can see why. Houston right now is plus 110 to make the playoffs. Arizona is not good. Tough game to bet. I think Arizona is not good. Let me put it that way. If you think Houston should be laying 6 at home, remember this team did lose to Carolina just a couple of weeks ago. I think Arizona plus the points could be the way to bet this game. But I really want no part in this game. Chicago and Detroit. Fields is playing now, and this line has come down to 7.5. Detroit does play Thanksgiving coming up against Green Bay. I don't think it's a look-ahead spot for them. It's a division game. Chicago's bad. I would still lay the points with Detroit. I expect them to win by double digits in this game. Dallas and Carolina. Dallas is 10.5-point favorites. Hard to bet this one, right? Dallas also plays a Thanksgiving game coming up. Carolina's bad. How do you bet Carolina? But I think, Dallas has blowout potential. They do this all the time. They did it again last week against the Giants. I think Carolina plus 10.5. You're going to hate yourself for taking this bet. It's hard to bet 11 on the road, though, with Dallas with their Thanksgiving game coming up. I think you plug your nose, you take Carolina. But if you want to get involved in this game, I'd probably just take the Panthers plus the points. Chargers in Green Bay. Public money is coming in on the Chargers. They're a road favorite at -3. Who are the Chargers? I know Green Bay's bad. I get it. Green Bay sucks. But who are the Chargers to be laying 3 on the road to pretty much anyone? I guess someone has just make it a pick 'em. I don't know. I mean, you look at this game, Chargers obviously have a better offense. Defense is maybe a wash. The Chargers don't have a great defense. Green Bay has a mediocre defense at best. When I looked at this game from the outset, I was like, okay, Chargers, I think it was at 2.5. Chargers minus 2.5. It seemed easy, seemed trappy, and I just feel like it's going to be the public pick of the week. You can get Green Bay at plus 145 on the money line. I think it's worth a sprinkle to take the Packers. The thing with the Packers, although they're awful, they've at least put an effort in each and every week. So it's a team that has not given up yet. And if I'm picking a dog, I like dogs that are still trying. And the Chargers just look like they're on the brink of just falling apart, right? Like last week was kind of their game where everyone was watching them. They're playing the Lions. This was it. And the Lions put up, I don't even know, over 500 yards of offense. They went up and down the field. They lost the game at home. Now the Chargers traveling to the East Coast. Probably look at the weather for this game. This is a tough one. Like the Chargers they don't do well in these situations. And Green Bay has been trying, and they've looked better at home. I think the Packers on the money line are worth the play on this game. Vegas and Miami. Miami's been bet up to 13.5, and there's really not a point spread that's big enough. If I'm playing, I'm laying with Miami. They're coming off a tough loss, I believe. They had their bye week last week. They lost against Kansas City, had their bye week. Now they're back home where they play well against a Vegas team that's a complete mess. 2 touchdowns for this team. I think it's, taking Miami as a play. Giants at Washington. I don't know. This game's been up to -9 for Washington. I don't know how you even pick this game. Giants and Washington? What? The Skins or Commanders or the no-names, whatever you want to call them, are almost a 10-point home favorite. How bad is New York? The answer is they're very bad. So how do you bet this game? I don't know. I guess the Washington's in a teaser spot here. You can tease them down. 7-point teaser maybe. If they're at 8.5. The reason the spread went up to 9 is to protect against a teaser. 6-point teaser, right? Because now you can only take them down to -3. So you might have to use a 7-point teaser, which you pay that little bit more juice with. Hard game to bet. I think Washington's playing the Thursday or the Thanksgiving game against Dallas, I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong. I don't even know. I know Detroit's playing Green Bay. I know San Francisco's playing Seattle. I don't really know who Dallas is playing. They might be playing Washington, but either way, tough game. I don't even want any part of this Giants and Washington game, but I wouldn't mind sprinkling some money on the money line for the New York Football Giants. Giants to win this game. Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Public money is flooding in on Pittsburgh. Deshaun Watson's out. This game went from like -4 to pretty much Pittsburgh -1. Deshaun Watson's worth 5 points. It's not so much he's worth 5 points, is that the backup, there's such a big drop-off. Really tough game. When the line was -4, I actually liked Cleveland. Now it's hard. How do you bet this game? Who knows? I know public money will be on Pittsburgh. So if you want to be on the sharp side, take Cleveland. Do you trust, though, their backup quarterback? Pittsburgh has been outgained all 9 games this season, and they're 6-3. They're the first team in NFL history to be outgained every game in the season, have a winning record after, forget 9 weeks, 8 weeks. They've done it. They win close games. Tough game to bet. But I'm not betting this game. Tennessee, Jacksonville. Jacksonville's -7, 6.5, and bet up to 7. I know a lot of people will take Tennessee. Division game, Vrabel, catching points, all this stuff. But I think Jacksonville, after their embarrassing loss last week against San Francisco, sharp money will for sure be on Jacksonville. I think they are definitely worth laying a touchdown against the Titans. See if you can find a 6.5. If it's still out there, I think the Jags are the bet. Tampa and San Francisco, I don't know. It's 11.5. I don't usually lay big chalk, especially because San Francisco does play Seattle on Thursday. But I do like the under in this game, which I think is around 42.5. I think it's worth a bet just because I think San Francisco, after their big win and now playing against a big divisional opponent on Thursday, they just want to kind of get in, get out. Tampa Bay's not good. I don't expect the Bucs to put up a lot of points. I think the under is the play. Jets and Bills. Bills -6.5, -7. If the Bills lose this game or don't cover this game, it's a close game. The markets will 100% crash on Buffalo next week. I think because Buffalo lost again. and a game where they're expected to win by margin against Denver. You're getting them at a discounted price this week against the Jets. So I think it is worth a bet on Buffalo. If you can get a 6.5, I think that is a sharp bet. I think that is the right bet. They fired their offensive coordinator. The Bills offensively are top 5 in a lot of metrics, but they make careless mistakes, bad play calling by Ken Dorsey. This team should be winning more games, putting up more points, and they haven't been able to do that mainly because of the Buffalo's defense, which has not been good. Thankfully for Buffalo, they're going up against a 30th, 31st ranked offense in the league. So I don't expect the Jets to put up a lot of points against the Bills. The Bills will have their hands full against the Jets defense. That's really the matchup in this game. You have a really good offense in Buffalo, really good defense in New York. The under is probably the play, but I like the Bills minus the points. I don't mind a team after they fire their coach, but again, if Buffalo does not cover this game or win this game, I think they're done. And this is a must-win game, which the last couple of weeks have been must-win games. And Buffalo's, time and time again, come up short. Josh Allen has looked bad, just questionable throws, but I think the Bills get it done this week. I think they win by double digits. I like Buffalo. Minnesota and Denver. Denver's laying 2.5. Minnesota, give them credit. They've done a lot more with a lot less this season. But Dobbs is not a starting quarterback. And they've been able to win the last 2 games at home with them, but this is his first true road game, and it's in a tough environment in Denver. And Denver has played well over the last 4 weeks, especially defensively. They've held some really good offenses at Kansas City and Buffalo, and they've held them in check. Minnesota they're banged up. They're not going to have Jefferson. I don't think they're going to have Osborne. They're missing some guys here. Tight ends injured too, Hawkinson. So I just think you have a backup quarterback going in a tough environment against a defense that's starting to believe in themselves, against Russell Wilson, who's starting to play a little bit better. I think Denver's the play. I don't know how you take Minnesota here. If Minnesota wins this game on the road, a month ago, when they still had Kirk Cousins and the Broncos were bad maybe, but this has turned around. Broncos are the play here. Take Denver in mild high. And of course, remember the game of the week, Monday Night Football, Philadelphia and Kansas City. Kansas City is laying 2.5. Personally, I think this line should be 3.5 for Kansas City because I have them a full 2 points better than Philly on a neutral field. Plus, they're at home. This is worth 3.5. Both teams kind of buys. Of course, the rematch from last year. We're getting them at under a field goal. Kansas City, to me, is a play. Defensively, that's the difference in this game. Kansas City has a better defense. They have a very good defense, better than Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a run-first football team. They like to grind it out. The Chiefs, they like to mix and match. They're not as deep offensively as Philadelphia has. Philly has more options on offense than Kansas City has, for sure. But defensively, Kansas City's better. They're at home. I don't think the Super Bowl revenge means anything in this game. If anything, I think if Philly loses, they come back stronger. If these guys meet again in a rematch of the Super Bowl, I don't know if that's going to happen. But if Philly loses this game, I think it's more of a reason to back Philly later on down the road. But I like the Chiefs here. Defense, I think, will be the difference. And Andy Reid off a bye has been money. And so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like the Chiefs at minus 1.5, -2, -2.5. Guys, like, subscribe, comment, join the Patreon. Link in the description. We're going to have a big week. Listen, I made 2 guaranteed picks this year, or a perfect 2-0. I really like this week. So sign up. Good luck, guys. Week 11. Let's win some money.